After J.D. Vance's meltdown this morning, I didn't think it was possible for any Republican to humiliate themselves more than that on the Sunday shows, but lo and behold, Lindsey Graham, who always delivers a masterful performance, if by masterful performance you mean complete freak out, in which he not only yelled at Kristen Welker the entire time, but also attacked her in a complete freak out that we're going to get into. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into the lie that Lindsey got caught in and why it led him to attack Kristen Welker in his screaming meltdown, I want to start with the person who broke down this criminal action within the Trump administration being carried out through the DOJ, the weaponization of government, and that was Kamala Harris in an interview this morning.
In the past couple of weeks, we have seen the indictments of former FBI Director James Comey, the indictment just a few days ago of the Attorney General of New York, Letitia James. You called this in your book Trump's vengeance agenda.
Before it even happened.
Before it happened.
Yes.
You've predicted this. You seem like saying I told you so, but this is one of those things that you predicted. Yeah. You were an Attorney General of the second largest DOJ in the country, second only to the United States DOJ. What does what we're seeing mean for the rule of law in this country?
This is a full-on frontal attack on the rule of law in our country. And, you know, one of the things that we talked about during those 107 days and even before was that the Supreme Court, during the course of the election cycle, made the decision, as you'll recall, that the president would be immune from any of his conduct while in office. So we went into the election with this individual, Donald Trump, knowing that he would essentially be immune from any consequence for misbehavior while in office. So the Supreme Court basically gave him that. You look at what's happening in terms of the militarization of the streets of America, deploying people, men and women who have been trained to fight our adversaries or to do other important work that is about uplifting the well-being of the American people, being sent to the streets of America like here in Chicago. You look at what's happening in terms of the weaponization of the Department of Justice, to your point, going after Comey, going after the Attorney General of the state of New York, who a previous prosecutor, who I'm told was a conservative Republican, reviewed the evidence and decided that there was not enough facts to charge her with a crime, and she has been indicted. And what we see is that the rule of law is very much under attack by this president, who thinks that the Department of Justice is his personal lawyer and is basically subverting the will of the people around constitutional safeguard.
Donald Trump ran a presidential campaign exclusively on this idea that he was being attacked by the Biden administration, that they had weaponized the DOJ to go after him, that he was sitting in courtrooms not because he was a criminal, but because the system is corrupt. Now, the system is corrupt, but corrupt for people like Donald Trump who corrupted, who do not take accountability, who do not face consequences for their crimes and their corruption. That is who the system is broken in favor of. And Donald Trump, of course, has perpetuated that during his administration, covering up not just for himself and his relationship with his buddy Jeffrey Epstein, but everybody else. NBC News is still waiting to get the names of the two Epstein associates who Pam Bondi is blocking them from obtaining, who were wired hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's Donald Trump's administration. They have weaponized government, and they were never victim to a broken system. They exploited it, which is what Lindsey Graham was confronted with this morning, and it led him to freak out.
NBC News again has confirmed that that post that President Trump put on Truth Social was actually meant to be a private message to Pam Bondi. Do you think it's appropriate for the president to direct his attorney general to indict whoever he says?
Well, I think it's appropriate for Comey to answer for his conduct. 5 years ago at a hearing we had in 2020, when I asked him, why didn't you tell the court about exculpatory information, where the CIA gave a memo to Strzok and Comey saying there was intel that Hillary Clinton's campaign was creating the false narrative that Russia and Trump were working together. The man who created the Steele dossier, recanted it in February, and
Senator?
Comey kept using the document to get warrants. So, yeah, I think the grand jury is doing the right thing. And Trump got indicted 91 times 3 days after he announced for president in February 15th, 2022.
But Senator, I'm asking,
got 91 indictments in foreign jurisdictions.
But Senator, I'm asking about right now and this sitting president's actions right now. It's worth noting that James
Well, the
Comey,
grand jury
Letitia,
indicted them, not
Well,
but
James
grand
Comey and
jury
Letitia James have
indicted,
said that they
not
are
the
both
president.
said that they are innocent of these crimes that they've been accused of. But Senator, very
Good.
quickly,
They'll
to
have
the
a chance to
appearance-
prove it.
To the appearance, though, Senator, the fact that President Trump publicly called for his attorney general to indict people. Do you think that crosses a line between the Justice Department being independent from the executive branch?
I think our Justice Department in the hands of Biden crossed every line there is to cross. I think within 3 days of announcing he was going to run for president in 2024, he did that in 2022.
But what about Trump?
He had
But
91
Senator, what about
indictments.
Trump? What about?
Yeah. Now, I think the grand jury is going to take care of this, but you didn't care any about this. You didn't care that Letitia James made up charges that no one's ever faced.
But Senator,
that Alvin
Biden
Bragg
never
made up
publicly
charges no
called
one
for
ever
Trump to
faced.
be indicted.
He had 90. Biden regretted that they didn't do it before the election. Jack Smith surveilled my phone records and 8 other senators. Jack Smith introduced his brief against Trump October the 24th before the 2024 election, violating every protocol just to politicize the election. So this may bother you that people are being held accountable. It doesn't bother me one damn bit.
Hold on a second. Is Lindsey Graham saying that Kristen Welker needs to condemn Donald Trump having committed crimes and pseudo been held accountable for them? A jury of his peers found Donald Trump guilty. What does Kristen Welker have to do with any of that? She has to report that it was bad, that justice was served. I'm really unsure what Lindsey is trying to say or is trying to scream, but this is the defense that you expect. These Republicans have to do this. They have to go and debase themselves, to humiliate themselves, to show, oh, dear leader Donald, we'll do whatever you want. I'll embarrass myself. I'll be made to look a fool. Anything you want, Donald, which is what he expects. And it's what he wanted from J.D. Vance when he picked him to be his running mate. He liked the fact that I think Vance talked shit about him and then had to walk it all back. And now he has J.D., of course, debasing himself once again. This morning, same topic and same result, a complete meltdown.
Of course, NBC News is covering and has confirmed that President Trump's social media post last month calling for his Attorney General Pam Bondi to prosecute his political opponents James Comey, Letitia James, and Adam Schiff was actually meant to be a private message. Both Comey and James have now been indicted. Is the Department of Justice acting on orders from the president to prosecute his political opponents with the final 30 seconds we have left?
No, we're driven by the law and the facts of the case. I think if you look at the case, the fact that a far-left grand jury in a far-left area indicted Letitia James and James Comey, if you look at the fact that James Comey obviously lied under oath, Letitia James obviously committed mortgage fraud, what we're doing is letting the law drive the prosecution decisions in the Department of Justice. You know who we haven't prosecuted? Joe Biden or Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton.
Okay,
unlike Biden's Department of Justice, Kristen, which actually went after Donald Trump in the midst of an election, we are not doing that. We are letting the law drive these decisions. That's exactly as it should be.
Mr. Vice President, just staying on this president, though, my question for you, is the appearance of pressure a problem? The fact that he has publicly called for these indictments and now they have happened, does that not blur the lines?
Again, I don't know what J.D. Vance is trying to say. I don't get the point he is trying to make. I don't get this Biden talk. And also, these guys like to present themselves as macho and tough and manly, but do they ever stop bitching? Do they ever stop complaining? There is so much whining all the time from these people. The victim complex that MAGA has, where they're always the ones, oh, everyone's going after us. They're so mad at us. Well, why don't they like us? Is it because, we're blowing up fishermen off the coast of Venezuela? Is it because we're ripping families apart? Is it because we've aided and abetted a genocide in Gaza? Why do people not like us? Maybe all of those reasons, JD, you fucking dipshit. Maybe is that it? Is that why people don't like you? Oh my God, they just complain so much. And it's funny because the conservative movement has built up this idea about liberals that we are the ones that wag the finger and tell you do or do not. And in some instances that's true, but not from the perch of government like they have. There's a difference in saying, hey, maybe saying racial slurs or using just gross language is off-putting to the general public. That's one thing, a reasonable thing. Going after your political opponents because Adam Schiff was a part of your first impeachment, that is completely different. And it just shows how detached these people are from reality. And it's not just Lindsey, it's not just JD, it was Jim Jordan as well. He got shut down though, so we can at least appreciate when seeing his face is angry and getting humiliated.
I think the Justice Department is applying the facts to the case.
But are they
applying
doing
the
it
facts
under
to the
pressure
law,
from
and
the president? Are they trying to find ways to indict people who the president said publicly in that post he wants to be prosecuted?
I think that, Dan, I think they're doing their job. I think they are doing their job. I mean, I know the kind of information they're giving to Congress, information we did not get under the previous FBI director or from the previous attorney general. Information, we had looked at this issue where the FBI and the Richmond field office did this memorandum on Catholics, saying if you're a pro-life Catholic, you're somehow an extremist. We got like a handful of documents from Chris Wray, even though we asked for everything.
Should they be doing their job under
now.
pressure
So
from the president?
They are doing their job.
So you're saying you're comfortable with that?
They are doing their job.
Again, the whining is nonstop from these people. The woe is me just never ends. And aren't we so tired of that? Let's be real. Aren't we tired of Donald Trump complaining about not getting the Nobel Peace Prize? Donald Trump complaining that reporters are mean to him. Pete Hegseth complaining that we're not proud of him for putting a makeup studio in the Pentagon and doing nothing else in his job besides changing names of things and doing dumb workout videos, even though he can barely do, he can't do a pull-up correctly. This, Pete, is not a pull-up. Seriously. Like, you're a Fox host. The least you can do is be able to do a pull-up correctly. Aren't we tired of this? Don't we want to move on? I certainly do. I just want peace. I would be happy to stop doing this show if it meant we could just have a little peace and it wouldn't be news and we can have a Democratic president just getting stuff done and throwing Stephen Miller in a gulag. I didn't say that. Yes, I absolutely did, though. We're going to keep fighting those people on this show every single day, calling them out. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And if you want to support me doing work on a different channel, I'm hosting Sunday programming and a little bit of Saturday programming on the Bulwark channel. You can take a look at one of my latest videos with them right here. We're going to be having a lot of fun. It's going to be an awesome collaboration. We need to do that more in independent media, but we're certainly going to be doing it here. Keep on fighting. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.